Welcome to another Straight Up Tuesday tip. I'm 𝗤𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃, licensed agent with Second City Real Estate. With me, as always, is 𝗬𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗁, owner and founder of 𝗤𝘵𝗱𝗰𝗀𝗀. And with us is returning guest and president of the NBOA, 𝗦𝘃𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. For those who weren't around when we first started this podcast, Mike is an OG. He was on episode 37. He's been a huge friend of the Straight Up Chicago Investor podcast. Probably referred about a tenth of our guests have all come through him. So excited to have Mike back on today. We're going to talk about what is the NBOA for those who don't know, and also want to hit on the summer soiree happening Thursday, August 11th at Loyola University. For those who don't know, this is the who's who in Chicago real estate. You'll be shaking hands with the brokers doing, the hundreds of millions of dollars, the Noah Burke and Joe Smazzles of the world. Also the owners who have hundreds, if not thousands of units. There's political figures there, just a ton of value to be made. But I don't want to steal Mike's thunder. We'll get into that. So before we jump into the soiree and why it's beneficial to our listeners, Mike, can you just give us a quick refresher? What is the NBOA and why should our listeners care?
Well, gentlemen, thanks so much. Getting to know both of you. One of the highlights of my term as president of NBOA is getting to know you guys, and we really work hand in hand. We complement each other beautifully, and I'm just excited about our partnership. The NBOA focuses on neighborhood building owners. And I'm going to repeat that. The NBOA focuses on neighborhood building owners in the city of Chicago. So unlike our valued partners in the advocacy world that might represent some of the larger apartment complexes or the bigger suburban owners, we are in the neighborhoods. We have 9 affiliates from all different parts of the city, and one group that's a Latino oriented group that feed into the NBOA. Our job is to advocate on behalf of small, mid-size, and even larger neighborhoods owners, because we feel that we are out there representing the neighborhood. We purchase in the neighborhood, we hire in the neighborhood, and we care about our buildings. And our voice must be heard by elected officials throughout the city, county, and state.
Got it. And so, Mike, even if I just have a 3-unit, right? Like, is this only for bigger players, or is this for anyone who's in the real estate game?
3-unit would be amazing. I tell people, even people with a condo, or if they own single family residence that they rent, that's relevant. The laws that are being passed, many of them affect owners of 2 flats. The owners of 2 flats, 3 flats, some of the most important members we have, because people, the elected officials, relate to them and understand what they're going through, or we try to make sure they understand what the smaller guys are going through. Very important for them and those that own the courtyards and those that own the 60 or 70 unit complexes. Important that we're all involved in this.
Mike, in our year and a half we've been working together, you guys have tackled some huge issues. Can you just kind of list off some of the big issues and why you felt the NBOA had to take stances on those?
Well, there's global warming. That's probably the one we haven't done. That's probably the one we haven't done. We've been across the board, state, county, city, whether it's rent control, which I'm sure we'll be dealing with it next spring, but we tackled that when I first started about 4 years ago, opposing the effort to lift the ban on rent control. At the county level, we had a front row seat along with our industry peers on efforts to restrict our ability to check criminal backgrounds. Now that law went through, but our efforts made that law considerably worse. Same thing at the city level with legislation about all the notice we have to give. It was ultimately we have to conform with some kind of silly extended notice on lease renewals, but it could have been far worse, as there was a lot of talk about property owners having to pay relocation assistance to outgoing tenants, and we did not get hit with that. Along the way, we had all the COVID-related incidents, such as efforts to ban rent. You remember those rent marches, freeze? No, I forget what they were called, but it was a realistic threat 2 years ago. People saying don't pay rent strikes. That's what it's called. And then we had to deal with a very real problem called eviction moratorium. And then we learned finally that rental assistance was coming through, and we were involved in seeing that the rental assistance could be issued in a fair and systematic way. So those are just a handful of the issues, but they've been nonstop, unexpected, nonstop. And I think we're all better for having an organization such as the NBOA out there advocating for our interests.
Good stuff, Mike. All right. So this is the 10th annual soiree, which is a great word to say. But the summer soiree is coming up August 11th at Loyola University. Can you give our listeners who've never been to one? Mark and I, we're sponsoring this. We went last year. It was just a phenomenal time. We made a ton of contacts. Can you give the 2-minute plug on, why investors should be, keying in on this event?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, our organization, once COVID hit, we realized that we cannot be purely a volunteer organization any longer. Of course, my board members and I are volunteer, but we have professionals. We have a tremendous lobbyist. We have a tremendous public relations team working on messaging and how our industry is viewed in the media. These folks cost us money. Through the NBOA Summer Soiree, we've had wonderful support from our sponsors. And we're so excited about the list of sponsors, including you guys, that are going to be at the event, and they sponsor to support what we do, but also to get their name out there. It's a movement in support of the industry. If your listeners can make it to this event, meet some of our sponsors, be eager to make exchange business cards or use your cell phones, whatever I did at your event last week. I don't know how to do it on my cell phone, but it's a networking event. And we need property owners, we need property managers, we need investors, not only to go there and just have a phenomenal time along the lakefront at Loyola University, Chicago, not just to have an amazing time, but to help the NBOA accomplish our mission by making the sponsors' dollars worthwhile. That's probably the most important reason to go, besides having a great time.
Man, I have to say, last year's event was the first one I went to, and it was, I can honestly say, the most amazing networking event I've ever been to. Between the location, the view, the people, the sponsors, the food was good too. Like it was just an amazing event.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you must have gone to the bathroom when I spoke, because that was probably the most boring time of the whole evening.
No, it was awesome. It was awesome.
It's a great time. Again, the who's who are going to be there. And if you're looking to scale and get it more into, the multifamily space, the appropriate insurance brokers, lenders, brokers, they're there. They're there looking for investors. And it's all it is walking up and shaking hands, and you never know when you're going to need that person down the road. So the who's who will be there. It's a great event.
And what's really exciting about it from my end is that this event reflects the diversity of multifamily owners in the city. It's so exciting to see that who really does own these 2 flats that you're talking about, or owns these smaller buildings in all various parts of the city. The Northwest side, the Austin area, South side, everybody's coming to this. And you can really see that we who own apartment buildings, who are committed to providing affordable quality housing, is a very diverse and very skilled and dedicated set of people, and you get to meet them at this event.
Yes. Before we wrap, I just want to make sure everyone's aware. You have the NBOA, and underneath the NBOA, I almost call it umbrella, you have I'm reading it right off your website, so let me know if anything needs to be corrected. Edgewater Uptown Builders Association, Greater Austin Development Association, Lakeview Developers Association, Latino Real Estate Investors Council, which is one of the newest ones, Lincoln Park Builders of Chicago, Northwest Side Builders, Rogers Park Builders, Southside Community Investment Association, and Southside Builders.
That's right. And there's rumors that more are going to be following.
All right. That's awesome. Yeah, that's just power in numbers right there. And really, even if all these different neighborhoods, which are very diverse, and the problems that housing providers are all the same, no matter which neighborhood you're in from Chicago. So to see collectively just the power that you guys bring together to make things happen is amazing.
Well, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate that. And I look forward to our continue to work with you. And also a shout out to our colleagues. We have a partnership with the realtors with the Chicagoland Apartment Association. We're better because we have such a great relationship with them, with a group called 𝗬𝘃𝗶𝗵𝗵 that works statewide. As an industry, we're united and we work together. It's just so valuable that we have these relationships, that we can work as an industry together to fight some of these tough laws.
Good stuff. All right. For our Chicago fact, Mark, I think this is doable. Let's see if we can do it. I'll even give you multiple choice if you need it.
Okay.
So our guest today has roots in Rogers Park, which is the furthest north of the 77 community areas in Chicago. What community area, though, is second furthest north? And would you like multiple choice?
Yes, because some of those confuse me over there. So yes, please.
So your options are West Ridge, Forest Glen, Norwood Park, or Edison Park.
See, I don't know how that map runs. I would say West Ridge, but
Mike, do you want to shout one out here as well?
I'm just going to play counterintuitive. I'll just say, what was the last one you said? Edison Park?
Yep.
See,
I'm all over that. Go for it.
It runs northwest, so I don't know how far northwest it runs.
It's Edison Park, baby. Woo! We go all the way to Howard Street.
Oh,
7600 north.
Well, it's
jogs around Park Ridge up to Niles there. And
you can't gauge how far off of 90 you are.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to be ready for the north side neighborhood. Next question you have there. So
I don't think my friends listen to this, but if they did, they'd be all over that one.
Nice. All right, listeners, you have an awesome opportunity here. August 11th. By the time this airs, I'm going to put a button on our website, straightupchicagoinvestor.com, to go on and register for the Thursday, August 11th event. You can also find a way to sign up on NBOAchicago.com.
Sure.
You can reach out to us and we can give you information as well. Mike, thank you as always. Tom, thank you as always. And listeners, we'll see you on August 11th. Look at that.
Thanks all.